Welcome back to Inside City Hall, where we are looking ahead to next year's race for mayor. We told you earlier that State Senator Jessica Ramos will be joining the race, which currently includes City Controller Brad Lander, while others like former Controller Scott Stringer and State Senator Zelnor Myrie are testing the waters. This all comes, of course, as Mayor Adams faces multiple ongoing investigations and lawsuits. Joining me now to talk more about her bid for mayor is State Senator Jessica Ramos. She serves as chair of the Labor Committee in the State Senate, and her district includes parts or all of Jackson Heights, Corona, East Elmhurst, and Flushing. Welcome back to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Bobby.
So congrats, I guess. I mean, just deciding to run is a huge undertaking in and of itself. So tell us what made you decide to run and what you think makes you the best woman for the job.
It really is a very personal decision. I had to have numerous conversations with my family, with my team, with supporters and neighbors, and I came to the conclusion that we can't have a mayor's race in New York City without a woman's voice, for sure. And I believe that I am running on a very strong legislative record, raising the minimum wage, improving access to childcare in our city, which is in lockstep with the things that we're needing at the city level. I have been watching from Albany and from my neighborhood as the New York City Hall has been neglecting places like Roosevelt Avenue and other areas like it across the city. I think New Yorkers deserve the effective delivery of lots of basic services, but we've also seen how a lot of parents are having trouble finding the pre-K seats, the 3K seats they need. I think we should have been a lot closer to universal childcare this far ahead. And frankly, yes, the scandals have been a complete distraction from the mayor in order to deliver on those things.
I'll ask you more about the scandals, but just in terms of policy, where is it that you differ most from Mayor Adams? What are the decisions that he's made that you have most disagreed with?
Well, I think what sets me apart in this race is 20 years of public service. I started out as a staffer in the city council back in 2006 during the Bloomberg administration. I worked in the de Blasio administration. I've been a senator through that tail end and into the Adams administration. I've worked for some of the toughest unions in this town, and I believe that that experience does lend itself to a different level of conversation with New Yorkers when I start hitting the doors and hitting the streets and telling them how I'm able to deliver a better New York City.
Do you think that Eric Adams has failed in his job as mayor of New York City?
I do. I think his city hall has been engulfed in too many scandals, too many administration officials who have been the focus of investigations by the feds. And frankly, it calls to question whether folks have been vetted at city halls, whether there was an effort to truly recruit the top talent in New York City. I mean, we are one of the greatest cities, if not the best city in the world. We are a city full of talented people who should be trusted to do their job and not micromanaged like we've seen.
What was your reaction yesterday to the police commissioner, Edward Caban, resigning? And I know you've said that you think maybe there are others in the administration in similar positions who've had their phones taken or their homes raided by the FBI, that maybe they should step aside as well.
I think I'm disappointed, like every other New Yorker, to see that one of the main Latino, one of the top Latino officials in the administration is in this situation. I think he did the responsible thing by resigning. I don't think he should have been the only one. He's not the only one who is at the center of these investigations. Both Tim Pearson and Phil Banks have a checkered past, perhaps shouldn't even have passed vetting and gotten this far, but they should certainly be asked to resign. I don't believe that now former Commissioner Caban should be singled out in that way.
So what about the mayor himself? I mean, just late this afternoon, we saw a couple of your legislative colleagues, Emily Gallagher and Julia Salazar, say the mayor himself should resign. Do you think that's something that should happen?
Well, I did see those tweets. I think that we should expect to see investigations into the mayor's campaign funds fully investigated and prosecuted if that's necessary. I don't think that he should be allowed to get matching funds for his reelection, given those questions into his 2021 campaign. But I suppose, law enforcement will tell us what will happen next with him.
But premature at this point, knowing what we know for him.
I'm not ready to say the word resign today. but I see that the news cycle in this category of things is happening quite quickly.
Yeah, it is moving quickly, indeed. Let me ask you about some of your opponents or potential opponents. I mean, as I mentioned, we know that there are others, including Brad Lander and Scott Stringer and Zelnor Myrie. You all seem to share a lot of progressive views, progressive values. What sets you apart from those other candidates?
Well, like I mentioned, I'm bringing 20 years of public service to the table. I am the woman in this race. I'm a mother who understands the needs for a better education system. That's going to be a lot of what I talk about. Being a Queens state senator, I see the need for affordable housing across our city. Senior housing, NYCHA improvements. These are all things we're going to be able to talk about. I think I am a unique bridge between labor and business, given my experience also at the negotiating table, and can be a voice that unifies the 5 boroughs. I also speak Spanish and believe that that is something that is increasingly necessary in talking to the influx of migrants, making sure that they're getting the right information, making sure that we are helping them integrate into the way we do things in New York City. And that's going to be a big part of that campaign as well.
As a political strategy, the fact that there are now potentially so many of you running who are sort of to the left of Eric Adams, running in that sort of progressive lane, so to speak, the more people that are in the race, doesn't that maybe make it better, though, for Eric Adams, make it easier for him to get reelected?
Well, we're 9 months away from a June primary. A lot can happen over the next 9 months. We'll see, what that final printed ballot looks like. We also know that this will be the second campaign or season where ranked choice voting will be a factor. And I think there are many tools to figure out what this is going to look like over the next couple of months. I'm just excited to hit the campaign trail and to talk to as many New Yorkers as possible.
And you got to introduce yourself to the city, right? I mean, I've already heard some of the pundits say that, you are well known in your Queens district, but you have to introduce yourself more widely, maybe not a lot of name recognition. How do you plan to do that?
Well, we're doing it already. We've had a great launch day today. I'm going to be hitting the streets. I love New Yorkers and I love talking to people. So people should expect me to campaign quite aggressively. And I'm also going to lean on those wins. Actually, passing the minimum wage bill in Albany was not that easy. And I was able to count on a lot of support from across the city. And that's what I've been able to do in my time in office, is bring lots of different people to coalesce around the bills that we've been able to pass, and I'm going to lean on that support over the next coming months.
All right, Jessica Ramos, again, congratulations. Thank you so much. We will be seeing a lot more of you in the months to come. All right, it is time now for a break. I will talk about all of this and more coming up when I'm joined by 2 journalists in my Reporters Roundtable. Stay with us. We are back in a minute.